So picture this. Every single weekend, millions of people walk into hardware stores with um, a rough sketch, maybe a credit card, and just a massive dose of false confidence.
Oh, absolutely. The confidence is always high at the start.
Right. I mean, they are about to fall into this psychological trap that will eventually cost them thousands of dollars, completely ruin their summer weekends, and, leave them with a half-finished eyesore sitting in their backyard.
It's a tale as old as time.
It really is. You step out your back door, you look at that empty, underutilized corner of your property, and the ultimate do-it-yourself backyard fantasy just totally takes over. You decide you want a sanctuary.
And, I mean, the appeal is completely understandable. We have this fundamental human drive to create something tangible, something useful with our own hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe it's a quiet backyard office to just escape the noise of the house, or a dedicated workshop that smells faintly of sawdust, or honestly just a practical space to finally reclaim your garage from that invading army of garden tools.
Yeah.
The vision is incredibly powerful.
The vision is fantastic, but before you run out and, buy a literal truckload of lumber and start swinging a hammer, we really need to examine the reality of bringing that vision to life.
Yes, the less glamorous reality.
Right. So today's deep dive is grounded in this really fascinating guide we've been analyzing called Ryan's Woodshed Plans versus Guesswork. And our mission here is to explore the hidden psychology and the very, very unforgiving practical pitfalls of DIY construction.
Because there are a lot of them.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack why that highly romanticized idea of just figuring it out as you go almost always leads to total disaster, and why relying on a detailed blueprint is, well, it's actually the ultimate shortcut to a stress-free build.
Okay, let's unpack this. The core debate we are really looking at comes down to the temptation of winging it versus the discipline of following a plan.
And I think the psychology of the start is where things immediately go wrong. I mean, the excitement of a new project creates this massive blind spot regarding the actual reality of the work involved.
Like you just get tunnel vision for the finished product. Exactly. And the specific trap that catches most beginners is what we might call the illusion of the simple wooden box.
People look at a shed and they don't see a structural system. They literally just see four walls and a roof.
Yeah, you watch a couple of those 3-minute time-lapse videos online and your brain just strips away all the complexity.
Right, because it looks so fast on video.
It looks effortless. It's honestly a lot like trying to bake a really complex pastry without a recipe.
Yeah.
Like you see someone throwing flour and eggs in a bowl on a video and it looks incredible easy, but the underlying chemistry is exact. And if you just wing it, you usually just end up with a huge mess.
That is a perfect analogy, because that perceived freedom of not using a recipe, or a plan in this case, is entirely illusory for a beginner. It's a trap. We frequently mistake the visual simplicity of a finished product for a simplicity of process.
Right.
But a shed is not just a wooden box resting on the grass. It is a load-bearing structure subject to the laws of physics, weather, and gravity. Without a blueprint, every single decision requires trial and error.
Which sounds exhausting. It is. The source material highlights just how quickly the cognitive load cascades. As a novice, you are immediately bombarded with these highly technical questions like, how thick should the floor framing be?
Right, because if you're parking a lawnmower in there...
Exactly. If you plan to park a heavy-riding lawnmower inside, and you just use standard 2x4s for the floor joists, that floor is going to bow and eventually break.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't stop there. You have to know how far apart the wall studs should sit. What is the correct roof pitch? Which specific metallurgical fasteners should you use for different joints? How much lumber is actually needed?
I mean, I'm exhausted just hearing that list. Every single one of those decisions is essentially a chance to introduce a major structural failure.
It really is, and this raises an important question. How do we actually define experience in the context of building? The guide makes a really brilliant distinction here.
Oh.
Yeah, it notes that for experienced builders, the pros who inherently just know the structural math and the load capacities, a blank sheet of paper is an enjoyable creative challenge.
Because they already know the rules.
Right. But for a beginner, a blank sheet of paper isn't a canvas, it's a cliff. Beginners aren't designing, they're relying purely on hope.
And relying purely on hope is a very dangerous way to build a building. That hope evaporates incredibly fast when all that mental overwhelm starts translating into real physical and financial consequences.
Oh, absolutely.
Which brings up this massive misconception that trips up, I swear, almost every single DIY enthusiast. People routinely skip buying professional plans because they genuinely think they're saving money.
Yes.
The logic is like, why spend 30 or 40 bucks on a piece of paper or a digital file when I could spend that cash on the actual wood?
And it is the ultimate false economy. The financial drain of trial and error is entirely predictable, and it is severe. The source actually breaks down two distinct ways this reality hits the wallet. First, there's the problem of buying too much material.
Ah, yes. The dreaded just-in-case tax.
Exactly. When builders lack an accurate, pre-calculated materials list, anxiety completely takes over. So they end up purchasing extra lumber, an overabundance of screws, surplus roofing materials, all just to create a safety buffer.
Right, because they don't want to run out.
But much of that material never even sees a saw blade. It ends up being the wrong dimension, or it's just surplus, and it sits rotting behind the newly built shed for the next decade.
Yeah, I've definitely seen those piles of rotting wood in people's yards.
Right. And then the flip side is equally punishing, buying too little material.
Oh, man. Running out of materials is just devastating to the momentum of a project. I mean, imagine you're halfway through framing the roof, the sun is going down on a Sunday afternoon, you are totally in the zone, and then you realize you are exactly 3 2x4s short.
The project grinds to an immediate halt. You're forced to make these additional, super frustrating trips to the hardware store. And frequently, when you return days later, the store is out of the exact same materials.
Oh, that's the worst.
So you end up buying mismatched supplies or mixing different grades of wood or, using different colored shingles. And that permanently compromises the aesthetics and sometimes even the structural integrity of the build.
But let me stop you there, because framing this purely as a financial issue, like wasting money on extra wood or wasting gas on trips to the store, that feels like we're seriously underselling the real danger here.
How so?
Well, the stakes are much higher. A single bad measurement isn't just like a cosmetic quirk. We aren't talking about a window that just looks a little crooked and adds some rustic character. I mean, think about it like zipping up a jacket.
Okay, I like this.
If just one tooth of that zipper is misaligned at the very bottom, you probably won't notice it immediately. The zipper still pulls up for a few inches. But by the time you get to the top, the entire track is skewed, the whole thing is completely jammed, and the only solution is to rip it all the way down and start over.
That geometric analogy is highly accurate.
Because in construction, winging it usually means you are misaligning that very first tooth. That bad measurement cascades through the entire physical structure.
It absolutely does, because construction relies on a strict sequence of dependencies. The physics are entirely unforgiving. The guide stresses that one incorrect measurement at the foundation or floor level magnifies as you go up.
Right.
So if your foundation is not perfectly square, and if your walls are not perfectly plumb, which means perfectly vertically straight, your roof framing simply will not fit.
The roof trusses will just, hover in the air, refusing to sit flat on the walls?
Basically, yeah. The geometry just won't allow it to close. And if the walls and roof are skewed, the rough openings for your doors and windows morph from rectangles into parallelograms.
Oh, no.
So suddenly your door binds against the frame and won't shut. Your windows won't slide into their openings. And at that point, you are forced to start dismantling the structure, throwing away ruined custom-cut lumber, and buying really expensive replacements.
It's just a domino effect of incredibly expensive mistakes.
And beyond the immediate frustration, you have the long-term reality of the environment. A shed is not an indoor coffee table. It's an exterior structure. It has to survive nature.
Right. It's outside 24/7.
Exactly. It must withstand heavy, driving rain. It has to resist strong directional winds trying to push it over. And depending on where you live, it has to support significant snow loads pressing down on the roof.
That's a lot of weight.
It is. And without proper framing logic, which guesswork simply cannot provide, the shed becomes physically unstable over time. The roof sags, the joints pull apart, water infiltrates, and eventually a heavy snow could cause a total collapse.
Wow. So relying on trial and error leads to structural doom, an empty wallet, and a totally ruined weekend. We have painted a pretty terrifying picture for anyone currently holding a hammer.
We really have.
But here's where it gets really interesting. How do we actually cure this overwhelm and build with confidence? Because we need to look at how a quality plan solves these physical and psychological problems by completely removing the guesswork. Let's deconstruct the anatomy of a proper shed plan based on this guide.
Well, a high-quality plan functions almost like a time machine.
A time machine.
Yeah, because it allows you to foresee and solve every single structural problem before you even pick up a tool. The source outlines exactly what constitutes a professional plan. It's far more than just a simple sketch with some measurements.
What's included?
It delivers step-by-step instructions, exact dimensions for every single piece of the assembly, comprehensive materials lists, and cutting diagrams.
Oh, cutting diagrams are an absolute revelation. I mean, instead of staring at a 12-foot board trying to figure out how to get 3 specific pieces out of it without leaving, a completely useless 2-foot scrap, the plan shows you the exact sequence of cuts to ensure zero waste.
Exactly. It optimizes the material usage perfectly. Furthermore, a proper plan includes framing layouts, detailed roof construction details, foundation guidance, and highly specific instructions for sealing and installing the doors and windows to actually prevent water damage.
When you lay all of that out, I feel this massive psychological shift happening. I mean,
Yeah.
people chronically delay these projects or they abandon them halfway through because they mistakenly believe they just lack woodworking experience.
Right. They think they aren't handy enough.
Yeah, they think they aren't handy enough to pull it off. But the physical work itself, like cutting a piece of wood on a penciled line or driving a screw into a pre-drilled hole, that is not actually that complicated.
No, the physical actions required for basic framing are quite accessible to the average person.
What actually causes failure is not a lack of physical skill. It is a lack of instructions. When you don't know what step comes next, you freeze. The anxiety just takes over. But a detailed plan takes this massive, intimidating structure and breaks it down into manageable, confidence-boosting steps.
Exactly.
You aren't building an entire shed today, you are just cutting floor joists. Tomorrow, you are just assembling one wall flat on the ground. It completely changes the mental game.
It shifts the cognitive load away from intense problem solving and places it purely on execution. When your brain isn't constantly stressed about structural mathematics, your energy is focused entirely on the craftsmanship. And honestly, the joy of building returns.
We also have to talk about the unsung hero of a good blueprint, which is the materials list.
Yeah.
This is a logistical secret weapon.
Oh, absolutely.
You walk into the hardware store with this list, and all the guesswork just vanishes. You know you need exactly 3 boxes of specific galvanized screws. You need 24 specific lengths of treated 2x4s. It allows for precise budgeting up front, there are no unnecessary purchases, and a shopping trip takes 20 minutes instead of 2 hours of wandering the lumber aisles second-guessing your own math.
It brings absolute clarity to the logistics phase. And another fascinating evolution detailed in the source material is the format of modern delivery.
Right.
Contemporary plans, especially high-quality ones, often include detailed 3D CAD illustrations. CAD meaning computer-aided design.
3D modeling bridges a huge gap for beginners, doesn't it?
It really does. Traditional 2D blueprints can be incredibly difficult for a layperson to interpret. They rely on these abstract lines and symbols to represent three-dimensional space.
Which most of us just aren't trained to read.
Exactly. But 3D CAD illustrations show you exactly how every component intersects in physical reality. For visual learners, this is paramount. You can inspect the framing intersections, the complex roof trusses, and the corner assemblies long before a single piece of wood is cut.
You mentally build the joint before you physically build it.
Exactly.
It's essentially having a master carpenter standing over your shoulder, pointing at the wood and saying, hey, this particular board goes exactly here, facing this direction.
That's a great way to put it.
But, knowing the anatomy of a good plan is one thing, but you still have to find a design that actually matches the specific vision for your yard. The guide points to a massive resource called Ryan's Woodshed Plans. And the scale of this library is staggering. We are talking about over 12,000 shed plans.
The sheer volume ensures that virtually any footprint or architectural style is covered.
Yeah, the source lists designs for garden storage, tool sheds, dedicated workshops, firewood storage, small backyard offices, garages, equipment storage. The variety at woodshed-plans.com is seemingly endless.
It's very comprehensive.
But I have to challenge this concept for a second. If you hand a beginner a catalog of 12,000 plans, aren't you just trading construction overwhelm for choice paralysis? I mean, scrolling through thousands of options sounds like a different kind of nightmare.
That's a fair point.
And beyond that, let's address the ego of the DIY builder. If I am just buying someone else's blueprint and essentially painting by numbers, aren't I missing out on the true, authentic, custom building experience? Don't I lose my builder card by not designing it myself?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we really have to examine how actual professionals operate to dismantle that ego trap. Consider a professional framing crew walking onto a job site. Do they look at a pile of lumber and just start improvising a house based on their intuition?
Well, no, they absolutely do not.
Right. They rely entirely on blueprints. They never rely on memory or momentary inspiration because they understand that every single component in a blueprint has been rigorously pre-tested.
Oh, yeah.
The angles have been calculated. The load-bearing capacities have been verified by engineers to meet structural codes.
So the complex math is already solved. But let me push back again. Professionals build custom, unique structures all the time. They aren't just buying a standard $5 plan off the internet and stamping out identical boxes.
They do build custom structures, yes, but they build that customization on top of a foundation of standardized structural math. The secret of the pros is that following a well-designed, mathematically sound plan actually produces a cleaner, stronger, and fundamentally better result than improvising the skeleton.
Oh, the skeleton.
Yes. The source reveals that even highly experienced woodworkers, people who possess a deep understanding of structural loads, building tolerances, and advanced joinery techniques, they frequently start with established plans. Yes, they use the proven blueprint as their rock-solid base. Once they know the structure won't collapse under a snow load, they make custom modifications to the exterior, the siding, or the interior layout that customize the skin, not the skeleton.
That reframes the entire approach. You don't have to reinvent the wheel just to prove you know how to drive the car. Using a professional plan isn't cheating. It's respecting the laws of physics, respecting your materials, and respecting your own limited free time.
And it guarantees that the structure you invest your weekends and your money into will actually still be standing a decade from now, functioning exactly as you intended.
Bringing this back to you, the listener, standing in your backyard looking at that empty patch of grass. Building your own shed is an undeniably rewarding endeavor. It adds tangible, long-term value to your property. But your energy, your weekends, and your enthusiasm should be spent on the actual joy of creating something useful. It should not be drained away by the crushing stress of fixing totally avoidable geometric mistakes or doing the walk of shame back to the hardware store for the third time in a single day.
The ultimate goal is to build with absolute confidence. And resources like Ryan's Woodshed plans, featuring that massive library of pre-calculated designs, offer a very practical, beginner-friendly roadmap. It entirely removes the uncertainty from the equation.
It provides a buffer against the Dunning-Kruger effect, ensuring zero structural surprises. So what does this all mean? We started by unpacking the illusion of the simple wooden box and how the perceived freedom of guesswork is actually a trap.
A trap that leads to massive cognitive overload, wasted money on surplus materials, and cascading structural errors that threaten the integrity of the building.
Exactly. And we explored how a detailed blueprint complete with materials lists, cutting diagrams, and 3D CAD models acts as the ultimate cure for that overwhelm. It brings an impossible pass down into an inevitable sequence of simple steps.
We also learned that even the most seasoned professionals rely on the tested certainty of a blueprint, rather than trusting the fragile hope of on-the-fly improvisation.
Which leaves me with a final thought for you to take away from this deep dive. If applying a rigorous, detailed blueprint to a physical structure like a shed drastically reduces your anxiety, saves you thousands of dollars, and completely prevents a cascade of catastrophic errors, where else in your life or your work are you currently relying on guesswork and trial and error? Where are you winging it when you really should be looking for a proven blueprint?
That is a great question.
Definitely something to mull over the next time you find yourself tempted to just figure it out as you go. Keep learning, keep building, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.